Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Alhamdulillah nahmaduhu wa nasta'inuhu wa nastaghfiruhu wa nu'minu bihi wa natawakkalu ilayhi wa na'udhu billahi min shururi anfusana wa min sayyiati a'malina man yahdihillahu fala mudilla lahu wa man yudlilhu fala hadiya lahu wa nashhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lahu wa nashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluhu. قال الله تعالى في كلامه المجيد قل إنما العلم عند الله. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in his holy book that no, now say, O Prophet, verily the knowledge is with Allah.
Mm.
So to find Allah, we need Allah's help. And as you said, in one of the Ibn Arabi quote we always read in our Mias Epi and also other Ibn Arabi Society presentations, we Ibn Arabi's quotation there he's saying when you are conscious of God, God Himself become your teacher. So that's what our objective. We will be seeking His consciousness and also prepare our ground so that we can see His presence in us, and accordingly we get His learning or His knowledge, the ilm which He said it is with Him. So anyways, I'll be sharing my screen and then I'll just go into this pack, which is basically we'll be talking final session. And so let's go into it. So our today's outline is brief review of last session. So it's mainly Sufi Enneagram we discussed in the last as well, and some steps, levels of restoration. So we'll repeat some of those things and not too high details. Those are the slides I'll skip, but our focus is on why and how, those sort of things. 4 degrees of purification, bringing justice to our nafs. That is one of our reason of looking at this tool. And then how we do all this work, healing work, soul work, by using Enneagram framework. And of course, various method is there. And one of the method is healing by divine names. So that is the focus. I sent an email to everyone. I'm not sure, Sister Heva, whether I have your email, but I sent it from the Mashraba list, whatever I have. So I sent a link for this book, which she wrote, that volume 3, which I'll touch briefly today. But our focus, we are finishing volume 2, which is the handbook, Moral Healer's Handbook. But we will not touch volume 3, but we will just show a few slides on it. So this book is called Moral Healing Through the Most Beautiful Names, Practice of Spiritual Chivalry. So that is the whole book. I found the PDF and I sent the link to the via email. If you didn't receive the email, please let me know. I'll send you the link, how to download it. It's in the internet. If you search by the name, you'll find it. Anyway,
I did.
so that is one of the focus I'll have. How 7 stages of divine names for acquiring these 3 important qualities which we need for using this tool, the temperance, courage, and wisdom. These are the 3 virtues we need, and how you acquire those virtues using the, tahakkuk and tahalluk. Tahallaku bi akhlaqillah. Allah said, create akhlaq of Allah by using His names. So those by doing that kind of meditation and practice and zikir of those names, how we can achieve those. And this is the guidance from of course, compiled by Dr. Lale Bakhtiar, but from various um, foremost teachers, which over the last 1500 years, she listed, I think, in her book of Quranic psychology, at least 200 such names who she consulted, whose writings she consulted, like including Ibn Arabi, Ghazali, Ibn Sina, all sorts of, yeah. So first part is this review, which we discussed in the past. Main, as I mentioned, three part, as I said: wisdom, self-esteem, temperance, courage. These are the three quality we need to bring justice to our souls. And these are the various surface of the our heart, which our objective is to go inside the heart. Here, justice. But here, which is our mainly outer part, that's where all this inner disease appear through our behavior. One is called affect, another is called behavior. Those affect and behavior shows this kind of behavior in us. If we have lust, if we have envy, if we have apathy, if we have anger in our heart, that will surface through our actions and behavior. So then we will know, and we need to consult our akal, our intellect, to act on it. So we needed to move between various part of our self. The self has a three part. One is the A part, another is B part, another is C part. So we need to move around those part to make thing work. So that's what I touched on briefly with this verse. That justice is what we need to seek for our soul. So it says, "Inna Allah ya'muru bil adli wal ihsan ya'murukum." Allah is asking you to bring justice and excellence in your life, and of course other life too. And then Allah said, "Yutil hikmata man yashau." So He's giving hikmah to all of us. We just need to use it for our benefit. And then, of course, temperance is also it's hilm. I discussed it in the past. So that is one of the quality we need. And here Allah says, wal kazimin al gaiza wal afina anin nas wallahu yuhibbul muhsinin. He who restrain their anger, pardon people, and that's what actually is what Allah loves, because then we become doers of good, and Allah loves those doers of good. So three part self. One is the attraction to pleasure, which is quwwatul shahwaniya, and the avoidance of harm and pain, which is related to our behavior, which is the quwwatul qadabiyya, which is related to anger, which is the over courage, over development. And then, of course, the cognition, which is our wisdom, the C part. So, but there is a Quranic verse I am going to quote. That Quranic verse is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says to Dawood, "Ya Dawood, inna ja'alnaka khalifatan fil ard, fahkum bayna an-nas bil haqq, wa la tattabi'ul hawa, fayudillaka an sabilillah." O David, behold, we have made thee vicegerent on the earth. So I made you Khalifa, and then as a result, judge between men with justice. So that is what saying the judge. So we are all trying to become Khalifa. If we can, we have to do judge. Judge means that's what we say, to judge our own self. Our body is our country, our kingdom, and our hand, our eye, everything is our subjects. How we use them to benefit the heart is what the justice you have to bring at the soul. And he's saying, of course, here Nas is the outer kingdom, but inner kingdom, body is our kingdom. And then, so as a result, our hands, our eye, ear, everything is our subjects. And we have to, so if once we can bring justice there, that's when we can become Khalifa of Allah. But one thing he warned here, that he said to Dawood, Wala tattabi'ul hawa. Do
Passion.
not follow vain desire, passions. That was the precondition. Because it will fayudillaka an sabilillah. That lest it led thee astray from the path of God.
Mhm.
So this is the warning he has given us, and that's why reason and passions fighting between these two is the main struggle which we will be using, so that we will be using Enneagram for achieving that. And so now I am going to talk about another part, which is the why we need it, purification. So to center the nafs in justice, which, as you said, as Allah has warned Dawood, 4 degrees of purification. Purification, according to Imam Ghazali, well-known hadith narrated by Imam Muslim. It says, Holy Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, purity is half of Iman.
Mm.
So other half is, of course, Allah knows to bring the balance. Yeah. But our focus is this purity. Innamal amalu binniyat. The intention is um, half of the whole amal. Same, purity is half of the whole achievement. So now, of course, these are some of the tool he's mentioning. Prayer is light, charity is proof, sabur is elimination, and Quran is argument for and against you. So that is what the main tool we have. But about this purification, which is half of our iman, without the purity, we can't achieve, of course, those supremacy, to those khilafah, those Allah's nearness. And what is those 4 degrees? First degree is the purification of body and clothes. Purification of second degree is purification of limbs and your senses from crimes and sins. Third degree is purification of heart. And fourth degree is, of course, purification of sir, inner heart.
Mm.
So we all know about body and clothes. We have to keep it pure before we start. Otherwise, our prayer become invalidated according to Sharia. Substance which are impure, anything which come out of our body, that is impure. Even gas, even whatever comes out of our body, it's make our body impure. So as a result, we needed to clean our body, and we needed to. So that is first degree of purification, which we mostly do as
Mm.
a part of our wudu. We shower, we do it before we do pray. Second degree is the purify your limbs and your senses. This is the one, our senses as well. This is what Ghazali is saying that Hazrat Imam Ali said that our sin, when you sin, when if we do any sinning activity, then it creates a black spot on our heart. So that's why he's saying that we needed to practice how we purify our limbs. Um, you know, the thing is, they say that when we do something really bad, we feel somehow polluted. It's part of human psychology. It's called the Macbeth effect. This is, I am quoting actually the Sheikh Timothy Winter. I don't know whether any of you follow him. His Cambridge mosque khutbah is very useful because he's a very great Sufi, and I follow him quite regularly. So recently he mentioned about this. So he's saying that this Lady Macbeth, as the hand is scrapped, but the blackness from the murder can't go away. So as a result, Of course, it's called Macbethi effect in the secular psychological term. So they're saying that rituals of wudu is good psychology, but the way we can purify our limbs, including eyes, not looking at to impure things, and also we shouldn't look at and also taste things that are haram and not listening to haram talk. That's how we can make our second degree purification. Third degree is purification of heart. That's what we need this tool. All these items we mentioned, this apathy, envy, lust, greed, all sorts of things. So that's what we will focus on today. And then, of course, this as well, purifying the seer, the innermost nature of our consciousness from anything that is other than Allah. So anything other than Allah, we needed to push aside. Only Allah will pull inside so that we can maintain Ma'iyya. What is Ma'iyya? The witness. Because Allah said, Ainama kuntum, huwa ma'akum ainama kuntum. He is with you wherever you are. So that means He is with us. Are we with Him? That is the main practice we have to do on an our daily exercise. So never forgetting Him. Whenever you look, wherever you do, whatever you do, you are remembering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that is the state of proximity. That is the station of prophet. Of course, that is the station we are seeking as a spiritual warrior. And I wanted to quote this Naraki. He is an Iranian Sufi. I gave his full name here, Muhammad Mahdi ibn Abidar Naraki. Narak is a place in Mashhad and Kashan in Iran. So he was an 18th century Sufi, 1795. So he said, he quoted actually Plato, Plato's definition of justice. When the faculty of justice develops in the human being, all other faculties and powers of the self are illuminated by it. This is Plato saying it. And these faculties acquire light from each other.
Yeah.
So you see, if one faculty, yeah, as you see that justice develops the human being, all other faculties and powers of the self are eliminated by it. The faculty of justice. Faculty of justice is, of course, the one which we said here in the heart and the seer. So if you have yeah, all other faculties and powers of the self are eliminated by these faculties acquire light from each other. This is the condition in which the human self moves. Human self moves. Our nafs moves um, with that light and acts in the best manner possible, gaining affinity and reestablishes relations with the source of creation. You know, our Maya, the witness, Allah is with us, but are we with Him? To make our with Himness or Maya with Him, this is what we need, the affinity and reestablish relations. So, but precondition is justice. So we have to bring justice. And to bring justice, we need those three things, how to do that. And then is another one which we are going to discuss about this, where we got this Enneagram from. As you see, this is Ghazali again mentioned four virtues. He just, from this particular verse, 49:15, Hujurat, yeah, he's saying that that verse said, true believers are those who believe in Allah and His Messenger and afterwards never doubt. So who will not have a doubt? Who has wisdom? They will be the one who will never doubt. So that's why we need wisdom. And then, but a struggle in God's cause with their wealth. So once we do that struggle, which I was talking about, Tazkiyah Nafs is the jihad in Nafs, the greater struggle. So that is the one. If we do are constantly struggling, then we have, of course, with our wealth, which is time and money, right? So money is not the thing we need, mostly time and our efforts, our attention. So that's when we'll develop temperance and with their lives having courage in the way of God. So he's saying that struggle in God's cause with their wealth and lives, right? With wealth and lives. So we will be able to give our life when we have a courage. So this courage, of course, comes from the heart. And that's, of course, you have to put your money and time. So and if we are able to do this, that's what God says, these are the truthful ones. And of course, Ghazali is saying people who brought justice to their soul. Rabbana zulumna anfusana. And that is the prayer Adam did, that, oh Allah, we did a zulum in our nafs, the oppression. So if we do not look after our nafs deviating from Maya, then we are doing injustice. I have a whole lecture on it, justice on the nafs. So please go and visit session 1 or 2. I think I discussed it. So here, Lale Bhakti talk about one heals through the Sufi Enneagram by centering the self in justice. Healing takes effect by denouncing, reproaching, and diminishing the importance of one's ego because the vices are source of energy for the ego. So if you are able to control your vices, then ego become weaker, while the virtues are source of energy for the spiritual heart. So our spiritual heart will get energy if we, cultivate virtues. Being centered in justice saves us from danger of extremes in all affairs. Unless we find centeredness, we cannot be just and fair towards others in society. This is why with outside so many injustice happening and we were worried about that. But that is a manifestation of many of us doing injustice inside. This is the manifestation. So we are worried that why so many injustice in the world, because why so many of you are detached from God and doing injustice to your own soul. That is the what focus we have to be. This is why we, instead of complaining about our society or why so many injustice, you look into your own soul. Are you giving justice to your own self? Are you using a hand, eye, ear, everything, senses, as I mentioned, purification, to bring justice in your soul? That is the question we have to ask. When they are held in balance, justice is achieved only if another benefits from confirms our sense of fairness and justice. So that's one. The other thing is, so those are the 2 points I wanted to mention. Now I go into now our Enneagram. So basically, as I mentioned in my last session, the weed will grow in the garden if we don't do anything. No matter whatever you do, unless taken constant garden care, weed will grow in the garden of mind and heart. So that's why false self with negative traits clouds the mirror of the heart unless healing works are conducted. So that's why here she's saying that we needed to Ghazali's suggestion, they ask truthful friend, and then if we do not have an honest friend, join a support group, which is this Mashraba community. And if nobody is attending and nobody is helping each other, that means, of course, we are busy with our own thing. And that is the problem we will have. Never we will be able to heal ourselves. So anyway, I did go through this diagram briefly that we have three-part self. And so learn to think differently, know yourself. When you have disease in this part of yourself, which is wisdom, then of course we needed to put efforts to know yourself. And then when we have a disease in this part of ourself, which is the affect part, learn to feel differently. Love your neighbor as opposed to loving you. And then when you have a melody or disease in this part of yourself, learn act differently so that you can do good deeds. So that's one of the paradigm we look at. Nature is, of course, we are born with the centered self. We do have, and also nature will not give us his baraka, its baraka. All these planets are Allah created for us. This sun, this rain, this water, this wind, everything is already there. Nature is waiting to help you. But if you don't do nurturing, which is basically taking efforts and initiative, when you have all these negative virtues that start um, trying to make a nest in your heart and mind, that's when you have to weed those weed need to be rooted out. You have to trim it, you have to water it. Otherwise this nurturing, if you don't do, this soul which I mentioned, Kashani interpreted soul as a the shajaratun mubarakatun in that verse 24, Surah Nur verse. So there, shajaratun mubarakatun is the soul Allah gave us, and soul has is a tree because it has a branches. It's this body, this outer senses, and this inner senses. These are all branches of the tree. We needed to manage, bring awareness, self-awareness, manage all those treasures we have been given. If we don't look after them, if we don't do nurture, then of course we cannot grow spiritually. And this is what this particular tool will help us. And I did go through these four levels of nurturing. When we have any melody develop in us, there are four different way we can treat our disease. Moral healing we can do, but she gave us this example how we can use it. She's saying there are 6 points. Those 6 points, if you divide by 7, this is a mathematical formula. And she's saying if you divide this 1 to 6, this number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and you divide each by 7, because 7 mother names are given to us by default, which I mentioned in the past, that one is Ya Hayy, one is Ya Qadiru, and then Ya Muridu, those divine names, and then Ya Samiyu, Ya Basiru, Ya Alimu, and then Ya Mutaqallim. This is the Allamahul Bayan. This is speech. So those 7 names are with us. That's why we needed to divide it by 7. And this number 14285, this is the number. If you divide, it's mathematically happens 142. These are the numbers. If you divide 1 by 7, you got 142,857. So, and that's why first movement is, if you are in 1, which is hypocrisy, and your disease is named hypocrisy, then you needed to go to number 4. And then you needed to go to, if you can't heal it, go to number 2. If you can't heal it, go to number 8. If you can't heal it, go to number 5. If you can't heal it, go to number 7. So you keep on moving around your heart so that you can fix this. And that's how this is whole mathematically designed, that you got melody number 1, which is, I mentioned, hypocrisy, and how hypocrisy is manifested in us. If you look at that volume 2, the dictionary part, um, in that book which I shared with you guys. So, and then if you look at that list of melody, which is this this, what is that called, under development of um, the disease which is hypocrisy. So you have to, what are the things it will manifest if you have hypocrisy in yourself, right? So yeah, let me show you the overdevelopment of wisdom. That is the hypocrisy. He's saying that you will become contemptuous, you will
mm,
become cunning, you become deceitful, you become doubtful,
mm,
you will talk too much, you will have a false promises, you will do deception, you will become foolish, you will become hypocrite, you will become liar, you will become malicious with others, and you will be ostentatious, showing off, and then you'll be perplexed all the time, and also you'll be shrewd and cunning, and you'll be slandering, slying, and those sort of things will manifest in your character. So this is why you needed to work on it, and these are the method: diet method, drug method, poison method, surgery method. So we'll discuss more about it. And here, for every malady, one say is the um, as I mentioned, all those bad thing, and then number two is we already discussed as well, the undevelopment of courage, um, underdevelopment of courage. So main thing is either overdevelopment or underdevelopment
uh-huh,
of all those quality I mentioned: courage, wisdom, temperance. So those three qualities, these virtues, if you have overdevelopment, you have one kind of imbalance. If you have underdevelopment, you have another kind of imbalance. So underdevelopment of courage cause you become angry. You will develop anger in your behavior. You will conceal the truth, you will become cowardly, and you will be deserter, and you will be nervous all the time, you will be self-abasing, you will be have a lacking in self-confidence, you will have lack of self-esteem. So many things it will happen if you have shortcomings, underdevelopment of courage. So, but if you have overdevelopment, then also you will have so many. So that's what the guidance on this path is. As you see here, this one goes from 1 to 4. As you see, 1 goes to 4, and then 2 goes to 8. Now 2 goes to 8. So from 2, it will go to 8. And 8 goes to 5. 5 is here, and then 5 goes to 7. Same here when you have the number 2 disease. So from 2 is here, 2 goes to 8, 8 goes to 5, and 5 goes to 7, and 7 goes to 1, and 1 goes to 4. So that's what this circle is. And so, and he's talking about diet method. So diet method means, what do we do with the diet? Diet is mindful eating. Diet means eat good food and avoid bad food to remain healthy. So that is the diet method. So how do you, when you have a malady, for example, hypocrisy, how do you treat the diet method? One way is you stop doing hypocritic behavior. Basically, if it is not very deep rooted in you, is saying that recognize the harm, gain cognitive consciousness, have no doubt about it, then you have to be motivated to change, that you need to recognize that you have a hypocritic behavior, and then to increase awareness, imagine the harmful effects on oneself,
mm,
and strengthen will power to shun the negative trait, and constantly concern oneself with the virtue to replace the vice. So this is the method. Basically, whatever things you are trying to hide, and you have a two-faced person, you are showing something, um, say, hypocrisy in your behavior, you needed to take actions, so that you needed to yeah, you need to work on it. So diet method is basically avoiding avoiding hypocritic behavior, and correct yourself, and to become aware that you are um, showing two-faced behavior. You're trying to hide something. When you meet friend, you say one thing, and when you come home, you do another thing. So that kind of, you have a two-face. So that two-faced person is the hypocrite, and he is the one who needed to apply this method, the diet method. And then we did discuss this one also. This is the medication method, which is the neutralizing. Basically, you to neutralize disease, you take medicine, right? So something external material. So how do you do it? He's saying that consciously chide and revile, humiliate and reproach oneself for the trait in thought, word, and deed. In your thought, in your word, and your deed, basically you need to humiliate yourself. Humiliate. So you needed to accept that you needed to watch your thought, watch your word, and what you did to work on that hypocrisy by actually humiliating yourself, because you have to catch yourself that you are doing hypocritic behavior. So if this does not produce the desired result of centering and balance, the trait has resulted from affect or behavior, use A to struggle with B. So A is the affect and B is the behavior. So make something to actually change your behavior so that um, you are able to handle your situation. Just like I think Mark, you gave that example of this
Hudai.
Turkish um, Sufi um, who gave guidance to Aziz Hudai. You know, Uftadi Aziz Hudai asked to become on the path, but Guftadi gave him an action, this extra thing. He said that, okay, if you want to be on the path, he recognized that he had a kibur. Kibur means arrogance or a superiority complex. So that superiority complex needed to be wiped out from his heart. So he sent him, said that, okay, if you want to do it, why don't you get down out of your horse and throw away all your mayor dress, kingly dress, and then take an ordinary village boy dress and go to the market, buy this cat food and sell it, which is a smelly food. And of course he did that. And of course, and as you mentioned, it was so painful for him in the beginning because he had to humiliate himself, and all other beautiful women are saying, hey, he was the mayor of our city, now he's selling smelly cat food. What the hell, is he a idiot now? What kind of idiot is he? But yeah, I visited Aziz Khudai's, um, you know, his tomb in Uskudar in Istanbul, and I saw the signboard. The first title given to him was Sultanul Arifin. He is the king of the knower. So Allah gave him that title because he was able to clean his heart, that melody. So that's the thing, humility, humiliation, and something intervention. Here he has a guide who intervened on his behalf, and he was able to take that action so that he was able to struggle and win his soul. So that is the kind of thing you have to do. And poison is the opposite.
Oh.
Opposite. And what that opposite means, if the negative trait is firmly entrenched and deeply rooted, is saying that negative trait by its opposite, opposite activity. So of course, He's saying that I'll come back to this in more details in a later part of the slide. And same is surgery. Surgery is cut it off. Basically, when you have a tissue which is a diseased component and or a cancerous, you want to take out that cell out so the rest of the tissues are not contaminated by it. So that is the surgery, means basically cutting it off. So one way they say that engage in fasting more often to cut off the energy to the source of the vice. So if you have a lust, so lust of food, lust of if you have even lust of sex, the advice is you do fasting so that wherever this energy coming from, that energy supplies will be stopped, and you will be able to lower your lust, lower your greediness. So yeah, I did discuss some of these things in my last session where I did say diet, medication, poison, surgery, mild imbalance prevention, medication is moderate imbalance prevention, and then deep-rooted, hard to shift intervention, and then destructive, which is the cutting off. And there are some checklists there about how you deal with it. So, and I have these slides which I discussed in my last session. I kept it because we are discussing the similar thing. So yeah, I suggest you guys listen more details what I discussed last time. But here is saying that principle practice positive traits to maintain moral health, avoid environments and habits that feed negative tendencies. So that is the diet method. And then medication method is counterbalancing negative emotions with positive emotions and use opposing emotional function to neutralize enhancing trait. And there are some examples here how to deal with it. And there are more details, and I'll send some notes from the book as well later after this session. So, and poison is basically, say, if you have a courage issue, and if you can't, and if you have anger and if you are arrogant, opposite is the cowardice. So you have to play cowardice role, just like, Uftadi gave Aziz Hudai this humility kind of exercise, that every people looking at him, squeezing him, that saying that what the fool you are, but if he sustain that kind of look and he still say that I am on the right path, and no doubt that the path he has taken to reduce his arrogance is the right path, and his power of will is strong to do what is needed for him to do. That's when, of course, they are saying that under the guidance of a sheikh, you should do this opposite part. So arrogance, feign cowardice, or silence is what you need to do. And then excessive courage, withdrawal from confrontation, obsessive control, surrender to uncertainty. And then, of course, there are some spiritual method how you can do this is mentioned there. And same is the surgery, which is of course operation, intervention. And here is saying that fana, this ego annihilation, intensive retreat, and mainly fasting is the main method to do yeah, what is lust and greed to removal, so that you stop the supply of energy. So, and here saying that how to heal how we feel, and first one is the diet method, temperance, and there is in number 5 is the one which is underdeveloped and which is envy. And if you have issue with envy, you know envy and jealousy, two different disease. Envy is more worse than the jealousy. Jealousy is you have a sibling, he got a better dress than you, so you just jealous because your parents or whoever loved him more and gave him a better something. So of course you have a jealousy. But envy is you not only jealous of her, you wanted to snatch
Mm,
away that one from her and even to do harm to her.
mm,
So that kind of envy. So if you have that kind of jealousy, so they are saying that you have to go this number five had to go to this towards this center. This is the basically um, what is that particular number? The center, 369. So that one is the that is the sixth star. Sixth star is basically temperance. So and that is where you needed to go, self-esteem. And then if you apply the level one, which is the diet, and the level two is you have to go to 9 star, which is the medication. It's a two-step. And then if it is the level three, then you have to go to five, has to go to five minus, have to go to 8 plus. So, and and then if it is number four, the poison, then you have to go to this two-step method, which is basically from A, you have to go to C, which is the 9 star. So there are more details in the book. We will come back to those details. But underdeveloped temperance, lack of self-esteem, needed to be treated in this manner. Five is to go to 6 star and on the diet method, which is basically avoiding bad behavior and always watching you, and then check in your thought and other filtration, and then of course neutralization. You have to take something so that you replace your negative thought with positive thought, so that negative one is doesn't have a room to grow, and your attention is there, so that as soon as negative thought comes, you take action, so that you replace it with the positive thought. And the one which is the poison is, of course, they're talking about something to do silly, and there is a list, as I mentioned, in the other slide. So anyway, so these are the some of the diagram which she used, how to deal with greed, how to deal with envy, and same with this, how we act. This one step versus two step. As you see, two minus, you have to go to number 9, and then you have to go to 2 minus to 6, two step when you're doing medication. And when you are doing poison, then if you have a cowardice issue, then you have to go directly to this 4 plus, which is the over courage, and which is of course the the one which is opposite of cowardice. And he's talking about anger one, and he's talking about fear other than God. So all those various method, which more details are in the book, but let me go, and this the thinking cognitive related shortcomings. If you have ignorance, because of which is undeveloped, and you become can't even keep faith in God, and you are worshiping money, and you are worshiping of course other thing, then what is trust of God or tawakkul is gone. So then you needed to work on this particular formula, how you deal with it. There is a method how you apply it, one step versus two step versus three step. So hypocrisy I discussed before. So here is talking about He's saying the wisdom is in the head, the intellect, and liver is where your desire comes from, which is part of your nafsul ammara. And the heart is where, of course, your purity, your kuwatul shahoniya versus kuwatul gadabiyya. So kuwatul gadabiyya is in the B, and kuwatul shahwaniya is in A. So here is saying that when you have a melody which is 8, 8 means um, this ignorance, this melody ignorance, then C has to go A positive. C, which is cognitive, has to go to A. C has to go to A. You see, C has to go to A. So from 8, it will come to 6 star. And then um, if you have a 1, which is hypocrisy, C has to go to B. So as you see here, 1 has to go to B. The main object is everyone is trying to come to this 3, 6, 9. That is the point where your main virtues are. So yeah, how you apply it, there are some step by step which of course your type A versus type B versus type C. I did circulate before based on the Enneagram types. So yeah, we needed to discuss it more detail, how to use these diagrams when all this melody happens, and the methodology is discussed more details in there. But how you apply it, these are diagrammatically shown there. Basically, one C goes to B, as you see here. If it's a cognitive disease, you need it to move to B. And if it is number 4, which is a behavioral anger related issue, then B need to go to B. 4 goes to 3 star. And then if you have 7, which is your last, which is of course that when you have a last, then 7 goes to C. It is 7 goes to here, which is the 9 star, which is related to wisdom. So, and then depending on diet method versus medication method versus poison method versus surgery method, different directions has been shown there. Depending on what method you are applying, there is some guidance there. So yeah, this slide need to be, I did mention all these things in my last session as well. That's why I'm not going through details of it. But to digest this, as I said, we needed to discuss one by one practical examples. These are all theoretical, how you apply it. And she did have a guidance based on the various recommendation by Tusi, recommended by Naraki, recommendation by Ibn Sina. She compiled all of them, and that's how she put together all these things. But I don't know whether she applied in her own life. I have no mention of it. I am trying to apply it. So this is what we are going to share in our monthly sessions, what benefits I am getting out of it, and how I am dealing with various situations I am facing. And of course, theory is one thing, applying and getting results is another thing. That's what we needed to discuss. The more you do it, the more adept you become. So as you say here, the stage 1, diet, imbalance is 1, then you need courage for balance. And if imbalance is 8, which is basically your ignorance, then you need temperance, the balance. So that is the diet method. And medication method, if the imbalance is 1, again you need courage, and 8 also temperance, but method of applying that is little bit different, which is neutralization basically. So, and here 2 and 4 and 2 and 4, a little bit of difference. When you have a melody 2, which is under development of your wisdom, then you need wisdom, more wisdom. And then if you apply medication, then you need to move to temperance.
Mm.
So 2, when you have a 2, which is cowardice, when you are applying medication method, you balancing needs to go to here and then here. Temperance, you needed to come here to apply medication to neutralize it. So how it is done? Mathematically, it's showing. That's why she is, in the beginning, we said 1 divided by 7, 2 divided by 7. From there, mathematically, it worked. And as you know, this whole theory is developed by Naqshbandi sheikhs, and they applied it and they still do it. That's what the sheikhs teaches the murid on how to work and on the heart. So of course, yeah, but its full guidance is there. But I haven't met a sheikh who is practicing this, and I don't know. There are some Naqshbandi murid here in Mashraba. I needed to find and talk to any of them, whether any of them is using it. I have no idea, but I wanted to do it. That's why I wanted to read it. So through these sessions and lectures, I started the whole theory. Now the time to apply it. So now how I apply it, that's what I'm going to share in the future, and see how I go about that. But this is another point I wanted to touch. This is the volume 3. Of course, nature, nurture, right? Nurture is streaming and watering and then taking out weeds, those sort of things, right? But for the nature to come, and there are some method based on numbering. Because this abjad system has
Oh,
the divine names had a hot, cold, dry, those sort of um, connection based on Arabic pronunciation of divine names. Uh, and they are related, the names and qualities, into all these categories. And also it has a 7 stages. Um, she mentioned, and by applying divine names also you can heal yourself. So that is another part of this enneagram. There is a one is enneagram part, another is no one divine name part, and another part is influence of planet, which I completely bypass because I don't understand planets at all. So but I wanted to focus on this one, which is basically how divine names are used to heal various lataif, and how you energize various part of your nafs. The one I have the last slide where I have mentioned all those lataif. Let's go through these slides to get to have ideas, see how we go about it. So wisdom, knowledge of self, theoethics, preserve the eternal possibility of self. Temperance, process is creation, attraction to pleasure. Command, amar bil maruf. Psychoethics, preserve the species. Courage, actions, humanity, avoidance of harm and pain. Nahiyanil munkar, socioethics. So these are some of the activities we have to do. And then she mentioned these 7 stations. So to heal attraction to pleasure, which brings you, if you have an over attraction, you develop greed and attraction to pleasure. If you have over pleasure, you want too much pleasure, you develop lust of sex and all this. So how do you prevent those things? She has this suggestion. This is based on Ghazali's recommendation. She's mentioning that this 7 station is saying that based on Ghazali, Ilya Ulumuddin. So that's where Ghazali recommended these 7 stations to heal how we feel. So resolve submission. Now for resolve submission, you have to do is resolve submission is al-Jabbar, al-Compeller, al-Khaliq, maker of perfect harmony, which is al-Bari, and the shaper of unique beauty, al-Musawwir. So this is the first part. You needed to have a submission, you need to have a humility, you have to have full surrender, and then you need to look into your hope and fear, this particular situation of your heart, how much hopeful you are that divine intervention will happen, and how much fear you have that you are conscious of God. As a result, how you want to improve, how you feel, and if you have any lust and all those, you need to go through this 7 station. And for each station, there are some name and tasbih you have to do. So for this hope and fear constrictor, al-Qabid, al-Basid, al-Hafid, al-Rafi, al-Muiz, and to improve piety, you have to do al-Hafiz, al-Baith, al-Mudi, Mudil. So,
Okay.
and then moderation, the beginner, al-Mubdi, al-Muid, the life giver, al-Muhi, al-Slayer. So, yeah, these are the various stations she mentioned to get healing for this particular part, and this is Ghazali recommendation. In more detail is in volume 3, which I haven't studied yet. So as a result, I am not going much detail about it, but I wanted to highlight this, that this is the method you can apply. And I have a slide here, and then here it actually has various um, levels of quality versus um, quantity, and that is in her volume 2 book, which has that chart where she actually completely developed a full table of those divine names, how you choose which divine name you need it depending on your physical symptom. Um, yeah, just like when you have um, anger, how you deal with anger. Where is this? Um anyway, I'll find that book sometime later. So you depending on the name numbering, the abjad, fire, air, water, earth. This alif, ba, jim, dal, the way the numberings are. Ha, wa, za, ha, and then their numbering. And so based on those, how you spell divine names in Arabic, they have this abjad number. And that abjad number gives you hints, whether it's cold or hot, and how you bring the balance. And that way you can choose. And she gave some reasoning of these numbers in Arabic letters. Various saints and scholars mention how this Al-Buni, Ibn Khaldun, and all others, how they came up with all this Abjad formula, and how this name has a magical effect on our soul. So, and she compiled this in this format to um, the way the number versus the letters, and in that way you will be able to, and he has this chart as well, so you don't need to work it out. What Ar-Rahman, what is the Abjad number? She already calculated it, and she will also calculate it heat effect versus cold effect versus the dry versus wet, those sort of things. So here I just wanted to briefly touch on how said nafsiya is in the in here, Nafsiya, the one which is in the stomach area, and then the Khafiya is in the third eye area. So 1 versus 2, and then Qalbiya is this as you see the red, this color on the left side, Qalb where, and Ruhiya is on the right side, which is the white color, this one, and then Qalabiya is the one which is in the tailbone, which is in the back, in the bottom, and that's where this Lataif, and then Akhfiya is your top of your crown, and Syria is in the center, in the chest between your right and left breast, in the center, the Syria. So the way the practice is recommended is, of course, you do in sequence from 1 to 7. So for each of those 7 divine names, these are the mother 7 divine names, to invoke all those positions within your physical body, you needed to do zikir of all these name a certain numbers, either 11 times or 33 times or 41 times or 101 times. And if you do it for 40 days, you will have certain effect on those part of your body, and that will allow you the particular name you will work on, which is, of course, if you have too much anger and your body is getting heated and your heart become restless, and that's what you needed to treat. So as a result, yeah, you'll be able to achieve your goal of reducing that melody from your heart. So yeah, basically we touched on all those points, and that's where I wanted to stop here and discuss how much you are able to receive what I have gone through. So yeah, um, I see Donna is here too. So hi, um, Donna, thanks for joining. Oh, and I see Saharia. Hello. So we just did our last session today, Donna. Yes, basically, I wanted to conclude it because not many attending, and Enneagram study, of course, it's a bit of complex, but we were studying Nafs itself first to understand various components of Nafs and the dynamics of it. So now we are, of course, focusing on how you achieve purity. So purity of heart, that is the main part. So now the way you have seen in other tariqa, say for example in Anayatiya order, they have this knighthood of purity. They have these 40 different rules, the iron rule, the copper rule, bronze rule, and golden rule, and they go through observing and acting on those, but they didn't have all this method. They just working 40 days on one rule at a time. And I mentioned Abraham Lincoln, who worked on 13 different virtues to bring into him. He worked how he divided 52 weeks into every week he will work on one at a time and repeat the whole year. The same way this methodology is the Enneagram methodology, and they have, as I showed, from 1 to that numbers, the way it's shown there. It moves to 1 to 4 and 4 to 7 and 7 to 8, those sort of numbering, the way mathematically. And she said it worked, and that's how the Naqshbandi sheikhs use it. So yeah, I invite questions now, and if you want, we can go through some of the slide again, and if you want to bring questions, I don't know how you want to proceed. Mark, do you have any question?
Um, I don't think I do, Nord. No.
Okay,
Um, but if I do think of one while before we finish, I'll definitely ask it. Uh,
okay, okay,
thank you for asking me.
okay. Heba, do you have question?
Same like Mark. No, I'm still digesting it, and it's
Okay,
more of actually a practice, like you said. So
yeah,
while practicing, things will come up.
yeah, sure, sure, sure. Yeah, man, sometimes to understand what does 1 to 4 movement mean,
Yeah.
and that is one of the things. Sometime, um, yeah, you say that one is the underdevelopment of courage, right?
Mm,
Which create cowardice nature. Say, say, I feel timid.
mm,
I am scared of speaking in public. I have that kind of behavior manifesting in me. So, so here in me, it says when you have that kind of malady, as per formula, it says one has to move to 4, which is the overdevelopment of courage, right? But when overdevelopment of courage happens, then you develop anger.
mm,
So, but what they're saying, yes, if you have a cowardice behavior, you need to look at opposite side, which is, as I showed you that table, that slide I showed you, um, when you have an imbalance of one, the balance virtue you need to look at is, say for example, if you have one, then you needed to look at courage, because cowardice need to balance with courage. So now to do that, what are the actions you have to take, right? Um, so yeah, that is the question you may ask. I sent, when you have anxiety is one of the problem, what you have to do. When you have a hypocrisy is one of the problem, what you have to do. So the way in Enneagram Bhaktiyar's model suggested, so you needed to, for example, if you have a nipak, hypocrisy, you needed to uh, focus on the virtue sincerity.
mm,
For that, of course, you can create some activity in parallel. One of this zikir of this Al Mumin name, and then you needed to start watching your own behavior, self-awareness. In what situations in your official meetings, business dealings, in your family dealings, in your social dealings, you have this two-face manifestation that you are not telling the truth. Is it because you are scared that you will not be able to get your sales through? So you are a salesman, you want to sell something, you're hiding the truth, and you are um, overselling the positives of the goods you are selling, but you are not considering the justice component in it.
ah,
As a result, you are, of course, wanted to make the sale to proceed, but you are forgetting that this guy will find it out that you lied to him, right? So how do you bring the balance there? Those sort of things you needed to self-examine yourself, so that in your dealings you need to become a fair person, right? So this is this is why our murakaba, mushahada, muhasiba is coming in the picture, because you are a mujahid, right? Mujahid means you are the spiritual warrior, and as a spiritual warrior, if you are not fair in your theoethics versus socioethics, then of course you are not able to bring balance in your own personal um, soul, because you are cheating with yourself and the others,
mm,
right? So this is why you are doing it. You have a developed the greed for money. Why you wanted to have an unfair haram money come to you? when that money will ruin your character, ruin your future, ruin your akhirah, right? So that's where fear and hope and all those things coming into the picture. Yes, Donna, go for it.
Thank you, Noor. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I apologize. I came a little bit late because I'm at work at the moment.
That's fine. That's fine. I am happy that you are able to come.
Thank you so much. I like this study circle very much, and it's sad to see it that it's wrapping up. But anyways, I just have a comment when you mentioned the idea of the salesperson and how much it is important to tell the truth as a virtue compared to being deceitful and deceiving. I know mujahada is very important in the path, in the tariq, in the suluk, whatever you want to name it. I'll speak from personal experience. Mujahada is very difficult in modern day, in our daily life. For example, we know that it is imposed. What I found interesting actually is what An-Nafari mentioned, which is at-tark. I feel that at-tark sometimes really give us the power from al-haq, because we are all living in the mercy of al-haq, even entering al-arsh or whatever, mashallah, will get in the path without al-haq, without the mercy of al-haq, ar-Rahman, will not be there. So even if we do mujahada, at the end of the day, it is al-haq who will take us there. So when I felt that at-tark is, for me personally, when I see An-Nafari in his experience compared to Ibn al-Arabi, and I think of Al-Ghazali, because you mentioned Al-Ghazali, how he did this really at-tark, completely tark. It is when everything opened up for him. So I feel like if I am a salesperson, I prefer to completely leave. And anyways, if I leave something for the sake of the one, instead of changing the lie into the truth and this and that, because we know the system, we all live in the system and the structures and everything. I feel if I do at-tark, a door will open to me. And anyways, I will get my rizq, regardless of what I do. So I think more of al-tark. And I think it's a Sufi, like al-fana. It's part of to reaching the al-fana. So I just wanted to highlight this. I don't know, this is me personally. I prefer to take this course of action rather than to think about. I love how you put, like, if I have anger, then I have to go. And this is beautiful. If we can manage, this is really beautiful. It's living in al-asma, and we are living we are in alam al-asma. But again, I feel at the top of alam al-asma is al-Rahman. If we reach that, and this is, it's not just us who are trying, it's if all creatures, all mawjudat, all creation reaches the mercy, I think this is the ultimate goal, is to reach the mercy. Then even we will not need to have this or that as oppositions. It's like where iltiqa, it's the meat of the I think it is in the mercy. Christ is the image of the mercy. If we can reach, and Gurdjieff, as you know, Gurdjieff, he puts Christ there. So Christ is a very high, perfect man. So the mercy is from Christ, and we are approaching December. And if we think of it more and more, I think, I feel that, yes, this is more, if I do mercy, that I don't lie to people. And then I do mercy to myself. I leave this job that is making me lie. It's everywhere, it's mercy. Then I will get a mercy from Al-Haq, who will send me something better than what I. So this is what I want. Again, thank you so much. Think about having something else in the future. I love the letters. I love them. If we can get the alchemy of the letters, and if we can read many Arabic texts, not just it would be beautiful. Think about it, and we support you 100%. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, Sister Heba.
Actually, I have two things I would like to add, maybe a little bit to what Donna just said, and then I have more like a question for moving forward, how to take the next steps. So the first thing, what about Donna, I understand about the Tark, but me personally, I always try first to create this awareness of why I want to change the way I'm doing that sales way. I will not go by the book like they do it. I will try to add and create awareness of why I want not to lie. Maybe this will make other people think, and we can come up with another system. Or then if I tried several times and didn't work, then I would leave. I don't like to leave stark when it comes to more physical reaction with things. I like to, even if it's a slight and very small, even with one human being, to be able to show there is something bigger that we need to be able to change the way we're living, to make it a better place for others, and to bring back God in our life more physically and more in action. So it's the hardest work. It's more hard. It's more challenging with lots of more issues with people, but I think it will be satisfying in the end. Yeah, it makes me feel better for this journey here to try to give it first and a way to change how things are. The second part is actually of how do you suggest how to move forward now? Like, it's not just I know myself in different areas, but if I really want to take myself more holistically, how to analyze, and even if I'm working with somebody, helping somebody, how to analyze, how is there is like steps and procedures that makes it summarized to be able to ask questions and to really come closer to where are the major things that I need to work on first, and then next and next, to make it easier on myself and others?
Yeah, I actually, self-realization is the one. I
This
didn't
is
discuss.
yeah, it's something that is it's there, but I know there is like tests and things to do, right?
The
Surveys.
test
Yeah.
is there is a questionnaire.
Yeah, questionnaire thingy, yeah.
So in that questionnaire, I did share it before. What is the questionnaire she published as a part of the Enneagram, to start with what is doing, but you don't need a questionnaire. You as a person, you know what is dominant,
Yeah.
what the dominant shortcomings you have, and then you start with the highest dominant shortcomings, and then slowly you go there. Just like this Abraham Lincoln one I gave, he had a list and he wanted to choose which one he want to work with first, right? So
Yes.
so for example, in my case, I wanted to start with anger. So a person cheated with me, and I have so much anger towards him because he lied and he misrepresented me. As a result, he ripped me off.
Yeah.
But as soon as his thought come, and I get so angry, and
Yeah.
that's when I needed help myself, so that I needed to control his thought, dominate my day, and ruin my other productive side, right? So, but of course, as she suggested as well, and also other Sufis suggested, various dua, salat, zikir, Quran, these are all there. But unless you want to take action, it won't go away, right? And
Yes.
similar thing is I found also about the lust, and that was also so hard thing. Such a is the temptation is so strong that it will pull you. So, but you know that without divine support, you are helpless. And this is where you need to give complete surrender. And of course, you need to be hard on you when it is pulling you that direction. Unless you, that's why they say that your willpower is your sword. With the sword, you need to strong with courage. And the way you need one of the other session, I quote Mark, he gave me this quotation from Elijah, chapter of Fusus, where prophet was saying that you need a bravery to kill the snake which is trying to bite you. So if you don't want to kill, it will bite you. So that's why you need to take action. So yeah, those sort of things, yes.
Yes. Thank you.
So, but where you start, anywhere, anywhere, just start with one, and slowly you'll go there. And that's how I suggest.
Great, thank you.
One at a time, and if you can't do it, you'll find that repetition is the thing. And repetition is such a thing, because it's the law of attraction. The more you want it, there is a thing called the secret of law of attraction. The secret, it says that if you desire it hardly, and then you have a belief, and if you have expectancy, desire, belief, expectancy cause you to get thing to happen, because that is the karamatul insanis. They say that the power of insan, even Ibn Arabi himself says that the power of creation Allah has given us in us. So in our barzakh mind, if we can create it, it will happen in this world. So that's what, if you have a desire, if you have a belief, and if you have expectancy, then tawakkul, of course, it will happen. But if you don't even try, then you will be pulled away, because it is easy to fall, but hard to rise. Yeah, that's the thing. And path of taqwa is steep. Even there is a Quranic verse about it, right? So going to the ladder is harder than sliding from top to the bottom. Is easy. Yeah. So if you see that a particular thing will loosen your character and destroy your taqwa, then you need to resist with all your force and power. And if you feel that you don't have enough power, you still seek divine help. That's all. And Ibn Arabi is saying that God is waiting for you to call him. Even in Quran, Ujibu dawat ad-da'i idha da'ani falyastajibu li. So
always
we need to
seeking
ask.
help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Not waiting for not being able to, then ask. Now ask from now until I can.
Yes. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, we almost finished our time, but yeah, is it Sahar or Sara Arya? Your real name you mentioned last time, I forgot actually. Sahar or Arya? Do you have a question or anything? Huh?
No, I don't have. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks.
I just wanted to ask Donna, what was that word you were saying? Turk? I couldn't hear it.
Turk. Yeah.
Turk. And what is that?
Yeah, explain, please.
Turk.
It's to forsake, to leave everything.
Forsake.
Yes, forsake.
Yeah, to give up.
Yes,
Let something go, give up.
Let it go.
Turk.
Yeah.
I've never heard of
Turk.
that. Thank you.
Yeah,
Turk.
Nifari mentioned,
Actually, yeah, Nafari mentioned it, yes, in Waqfa. Like he has two books. One is called Al-Mawaqif and the other one is called Mukhatabat. Mawaqif, he says that he stopped me. Stop. And I think Gurdjieff, he has this stop.
Stop, he does.
He has it.
Yeah.
Yes. And Nafari, he has a book called Mawaqif where he says he stopped me. Like imagine you receive the Holy Spirit or you receive the knowledge from the one, and in the middle of eating or in the middle with the family or in work or what. أوقفني وقال لي. He said, he stopped me and knowledge started pouring in. So the person who is being spoken to, he must have done and went through the path and went through forsaking many things until he received the knowledge. Mukhatabat is the second book where he directly spoke to me. So now, as if the veil has been uncovered and I'm speaking to him, it's not just a stop and I'm surprised, أوقفني, and it's different stations. Al-Mawaqif. Mukhatabat, he directly spoke to me. There is no veil anymore. Ya Abdi. Yeah, you see. So it's very, very beautiful, very beautiful. And Ibn al-Arabi himself mentioned, he was the one actually who highlighted the Nafari to us. We would never knew. Yes. Ibn al-Arabi has, we owe him a lot for this. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
Okay, if we are done, then many thanks for joining, and
thanks.
I see in the chat. Okay, yeah, thanks, Heba. I'll send that book. Maybe I'll post the link to the chat group in that way. Good. Anyway, I'll keep you posted on our next session, which will be no recording, but a gossip like this last part. So that will be, of course, interesting. It depends on participation. Yeah.
Of course.
It may last 15 minutes or may last half an hour, depending on our engagement. So anyway, thanks everyone for coming to this session, and really appreciate your kind support and encouragement, and really it's a joy to be spend time with you all. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum salam.
Thank you.
Thank you.